Welcome everybody to SHOTCALL, the podcast show, whatever you want to call it, hosted by me, Goose. And here I am with ex-DZ coach, top 4 finalist at SI and major winner, if you want to say it. It is Mint. How are you doing today?
Doing well. I appreciate you throwing the major winner in there. That's the hot ticket item for sure.
Yeah, I think are you one of the only 2 NA teams or NA coaches to win a major? I think so.
Oh, who's counting? Who's counting? Who is it? What is it? Me and
Beast Coast, I guess.
Oh, Beast Coast. Well, yeah, I guess we're talking major. Yeah, we're not talking
just majors. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
it's a rare thing for NA for sure.
It is, yeah. At least for now, especially if you don't count like Pro League finals too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. The first question is, or I guess what you said, first topic is moving away from DZ. How did you get to Unwanted? How did you get to the stage with SI in the sense that you did? Is just where we're gonna start it off.
Yeah, so obviously DZ, I mean it was a little bit mutual. I think the guys, I mean, even talking to Brandon over there, pretty burnout, so don't blame them at all for going a different direction. I myself was actually trying to step down and just be more of a strategic coach. And because I mean, to me, that's what I love about the game. I love everything about strategy. I feel like that's my strength. But the org wasn't having it, and I don't blame them. They wanted to just bring on someone new instead of me stepping down and making things awkward for like a new coach coming on. So, yeah, again, kind of mutual burnout. Stepped away, and I get a phone call, weirdly enough, from Hot and Cold, and he's like, bro, like I didn't even tell him I was gone from DZ. And he hits me up with a phone call just saying like, dude, my team is like, I don't know what's happening with my team. Like they just got sold. Beast Coast just got sold. I don't know what's happening. We might not have a roster. And like, so I wasn't even like telling him my drama. I felt like he had a lot more going on than I did.
Yeah.
So I listened to him, hear him out. He sounded stressed. Like we're obviously really good friends. And then I kind of mentioned to him like, hey, like that's kind of funny. We're both kind of jobless right now. And he's like, wait, what happened? Told him my whole thing. Yeah. I think maybe like a couple hours later, basically, called me again and said, hey, like, I mean, they were more fired up than ever after losing Gunner and Diffuser. It was him, Spirits, and Gav, who I'm also very familiar with, said that they were trialing or thinking about picking up Dream and picking up Adam. The roster lock was literally like a day away. Yeah. So there was no time to do anything. I was already ready to just hang it up, retire, do what I'm doing now. I was already planning a beach vacation, just hang out, put my feet up a little bit. And he's trying to drag me out of my vacation. I was home with family during Christmas. So I was like, man, I could do nothing for the next week and just chill, or I can get right back to work. He somehow convinced me, joined the roster. Really glad I did. It was always in my head when I hung it up that I always wanted to go to at least one more team where I can just get like full control and do everything that I fully wanted to do. I feel like on DZ, things kind of slipped away from me a little bit, which is partially my fault anyways. I mean, I think just the longer you're with a team, they kind of start listening to you a little bit less. Like stuff like that just tends to happen. So it's a good change of scenery for everybody. Was able to go to a new team, incorporate all the things I wanted to do, and we had a month to work with. Obviously, probably one of the best experiences of my career. Those guys were so fun to work with. Scrims, let me tell you, were not going well. We were getting out. we would have our ups and downs. We had big problems with like man advantage, capitalizing 5v3s or like opening picks, and we were just like, yeah, we're game day players. We're when we show up at SI, we're gonna lock in, and that would be the joke. But I mean, to be honest, that's exactly what happened. We got to SI, and everyone started to lock in. A new beast came out of some people, and yeah, we had the quote unquote miracle run.
Yeah, I think it's really funny because I don't know what it's about with Hot and Cold and just like being the underdog. First, he did it with Beast Coast or C9, whatever you want to call it. Then he did it with CL. But 2 players specifically I want to talk about. Originally, I was going to ask why you picked them up, but now hearing that it was Hot and Cold's idea. One, Adam, historically, he's a really good player. Up until SI, he'd never been to an international event. And then Dream. Nobody was picking that guy up, which, in my opinion, really pissed me off. Because, I mean, it's kind of talent that's just sitting right there that is so obvious. So I just wanted to get your opinion on just maybe why you think teams didn't really look into them as you and Hankold did.
Yeah, so Dream, at least even from my time on DZ, I would hear people kind of badmouth him people talk about his mechanics and how he's not a good player, and like he had a kind of a bad stigma a little bit, which I don't get why. I always thought he was a really good player. I mean, if you could talk to BC as well, like there was times when we were trying to think about who to get in like a support role. We always thought Dream was kind of nasty, but then we'd hear from him, other people around the league that like, oh no, he's overrated, blah blah blah. I don't get it. I think he literally is like the glue. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit what happened to OXG after he left. I mean, it's not even just him. Like when they lost Fox, I mean, just in general, they kind of lost direction a little bit, right? But he's a true Swiss Army knife, able to play like every single type of role. And going into the shield meta, I think it was huge for us to get him. It just afforded us so much flexibility. Yeah. If we wanted to run 3 shields, we had the opportunity to run 3 shields, right? We obviously Spirit's getting on shield. Obviously, Hot and Cold is going to be on Montaigne. But like, what if no one banned a shield? And we're talking Montaigne, Blitz, and Blackbeard are up. Are you gonna let Mitch play Blackbeard, Spirits play Blitz, and Matt play Montaigne? Like, we were definitely given some flexibility, which was great. And then I mean Adam, I knew about him from DZ. We trialed him, and I mean he was insane. His only knock on him around the league, everyone would say, is like he's very quiet player. He's not vocal enough, which. I mean, 2 things to that. One, it's okay to have, as long as it's being covered by other people on the team, it's okay for one player to not be as vocal, and that can be worked on. But 2, I also had 0 problems with Adam. He was very vocal. I think he was just very comfortable in the team. He kind of had a little bit of a more of a leadership role. He had a little bit more of a, I think most people put him in like that mailbox cutoff role, but we definitely used him for more lurking and things like that. And again, I think he was just more comfortable in that role. He was able to kind of call all of his plays, and I mean, he was an insane player for us as well. I mean, especially group stages, early playoffs like that. He was kind of carrying the shit out of us a little bit. So I think it was 2 great players that got overlooked. I think that's kind of what happens in the NA pool. And it really just takes like the right kind of team to unlock different players.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Adam went back to CL4L with Packer, Gideon them, because they're players that he's comfortable with, played with Packer all the way back on the first iteration of Wildcard. So I think it's kind of a system where, in my opinion, this is also a problem. I'm not going to call it any org or team specifically, is they will not give rosters time to mesh. They'll have one bad event, one bad stage, and they're like, okay, you know what? We got to cut it up. When it's like, if you just give them a couple more months, you could see improvement.
I agree with that. It's just I'm trying to look at it on both sides of the spectrum. Yeah. Again, like there's a lot of orgs that are paying a lot of money for their teams, so they expect results pretty quickly, and there's a lot of higher expectations. So I mean, I've been there. DZ's. I mean, they're a fantastic org. They're putting a lot of money in. They want to win. I think they've being able to keep Kobe for a little bit and have him develop for an extra season was great. I'm glad they didn't kind of give in to the dropping him early and trying to develop him. But I think some of the top 4 teams, they're not in the business of developing players. They're more in the business of like they want the best players. They'll let the bottom of NA develop those players, and then when they're ready, they'll pick them up.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing exactly that with like rosters like C9 that was just announced today. Obviously, you probably knew it for a little bit longer before it was announced.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a system where there's 2 ends of the spectrum, especially with the new format of the NAL. It's kind of difficult, and it's always going to be that way. I think with any sports league, to be fair, whatever org has the most experience, more money, there's going to have better resources. But before we go into a tangent, let's just talk about SI, just kind of the overarching what happened, what you guys were thinking, because I mean, to go from you moving away from DZ, Hun Cold and all those guys from having a 2-year contract to not having an org. All they had was an SI spot and then a day to get players. So after that, going to SI, I just kind of want to get like a short story of just what happened per se.
So like after SI?
No, during SI. Sort of like a recap per se.
Yeah. So I mean, again, we were going into the event. 30 days of practice wasn't the most optimal, but we had a plan, we had a vision board, we kind of set aside that like we actually can do this. I know we're not getting paid, which we were trying to get a couple orgs before SI. There was a couple orgs interested in us. However, just kind of like my YouTube video that went out today, some are lowball offers, and I will be completely honest. I don't think a lot of teams had a lot of belief in us to pick us up. They didn't think we were going to be able to do anything at the event. It was a bunch of leftovers, and then there's Min who got let go from DZ. Like, what are these guys going to be able to do? Which I don't think anyone really knew like the full story of like these are three players that just won a major this year, this event. 2 players that were completely underrated and just need the right system, and then me, who I don't think I was working at full capacity. For like the latter part of 6 months to a year, and was definitely hungry to kind of prove people wrong. But yeah, so people weren't betting on us. We went into SI group stage. Trying to even remember who our first game was against. We didn't play Joel first, did we? We played. Was it Joel?
I think
we got Joel. We had M80. We had G2.
It might have been G2
team. No, G2 was a little bit later.
Okay.
That was a funny story I can go over.
Okay.
That was we got absolutely shit on. That's a funny story I can go over. Anyway, we started out. I'm pretty sure we lost our first game. So there's another team in that group, I think. Oh no, Liquid. Sorry, we started out hot. That's what it was. We were like, oh hey, we're LAN players. Like played Liquid. I mean, yeah. If you look at them, they kind of lost to some other teams. So maybe us winning maybe wasn't as impressive, but yeah, going into that event, I mean, we definitely were starting out hot. Came out with the 2-1 win. That gave us a lot of confidence going forward. Then we played Joel. Those guys, unfortunately, were sick, I believe. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe they were like really sick from traveling. Obviously, they were kind of getting destroyed a little bit.
Yeah. Same boat as you guys too, technically.
With the Orglis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the battle of the Orglis.
Yeah.
I think M80 actually came before that game, and holy crap, that was a game we wanted badly. Like obviously, like Gunner going against Matt, like the shit talk that was in between. Like we obviously wanted that game badly to kind of prove wrong. Maps, we got the perfect maps, we think, even though Gunner thinks they got the perfect maps. Because we had a little bit of shit talk kind of after. But that game didn't go the way we wanted. Gunner just started switching up, playing knock, lurking on us. We weren't ready for it. Prep-wise, kind of screwed us. Got our loss out of the way, not a big deal. Then we played Joel again. I think we bounced back. Easier game, got really good maps. And then at that point, I think we were locked into third. No matter what, we were third, which was like, great. We're not going to start in loser's bracket in the best of 3. We're also not going to start with a bye, whatever. We're locked in. We're playing G2. So we had a little bit of fun where we were just going to experiment, trying to play against their play style and give a different look. Our team identity was like not giving people picks on defense, playing very fundamentally smart siege, which I still believe is the way to play the game. But against G2, we let it all just go. Like everyone was playing super aggressive on defense. We were peeking and swinging everything. We were trying to stop their play style by playing extremely aggro, just to see if we played them later in the event, if that was something that would work. I think it really worked. I mean, we got like 2-3 rounds maybe on defense each, and it was oh my god, those guys were very frustrating to play against. But I think we learned our lesson there because anytime we played an aggro team from there on, like 4th, we just did our normal style. If you play almost like OXG, just have 5 mailboxes, sit in the site, don't give them anything, hold your angles. They'll just walk into us. So it was a good learning experience. Got out of groups. Man, this event's getting blurry to me now, but we got out of groups.
I had 2 questions. I can help you out a little bit.
Go ahead.
So the first thing, and this is just a little tidbit, is 2 of the weirdest chants I've heard from a crowd in a North American event you were playing. 2022 in Atlanta, I don't know if you remember, NGR was eating a banana. Everybody just started chanting one more bite. That was hilarious. I love that. And then going to SI, obviously, Dream is Sexy was another chant. So, yeah, it's just amazing. But fast forwarding a little bit, and I know this is the one question I wanted to hide because I wanted to get our reaction. And if you don't want to answer it, it is fine.
Okay.
Matt and Hat had a lot of words for each other after the matchup against OXG. I just want to get your opinion on that matchup overall. Obviously, it's kind of between them more than the team. But, I mean, that was a team that nobody expected OXG to even make playoffs. I mean, matter of fact, make the event. Again, miracle run like you. So I just wanted to kind of get your overall opinion view from that best of 3 solely.
I mean, first off, props to them. No one thought they were going to make the event. And the way they were playing, way back, was awful. Like, they had no identity or anything, but those guys put a ton of time in the off season and fixed a lot of their issues. Even more so their issues, like they almost even lost a wild card. I think they lost a wild card in every single game except the time they beat them, right?
Yep.
And then in that time leading up to SI, those guys got so much better. Like, it was actually insane, their progress. Yeah. So I don't know what they did, but props to them. I want to say hat off, but all right. Moving on. Again, when we would scrim those guys, and we would scrim those guys often, that was our counter. There was something about them. There was no NA team. We struggled more than against OXG, and I have no idea why, because our playstyle fits them perfectly. Don't give them anything. Their mailboxes. Make them enter the building. They didn't have an entry. It was just like Hat on he was playing Thermite. Don't give them anything. Make them execute. They didn't have executes. But whenever we'd scrim them, for some reason, we'll go up 5v3, and then, oh my God, I don't know how many rounds we would lose 5v3. Diaz is swinging everything. Gomez is swinging everything. And they're just winning rounds. It was insane. But again, it clicked. We played them. We talked about our play style so heavily before that game. And we actually executed it properly. I feel like that was actually a pretty easy match, and it gave us so much more confidence going into our next match, because Raza, who we played right after doing all their prep, they literally looked like a Brazilian OXG. Like, they also looked like they were extremely slow, had a bunch of mailboxes. Like, it was like the exact same style. And I was like, okay, I think we can actually win this game too. This is nice.
Yeah, I think overall the matchups of SI was my favorite part. Obviously, there's a lot of 2-0s, probably could have been a little bit better. But I think just overall the style of play, especially since it was kind of, well, it was the last event before CJX, it was really good to see storylines tie up. Obviously, a lot of teams making a lot of big decisions. But one question I have before we move on is, going into the event, did you have any expectation you would make top 4, that you would have the run that you did? Or was it kind of just, we're just going to go in and do what we can?
I mean, I think any coach, any player is going to tell you, like, they're of course, that they think they can contend for championships and all that. But we really were struggling pretty badly in scrims. We were getting better every single day, but I was like, man, if we had 30 more days, or if we actually had an org that would have gave us a proper boot camp for 2 weeks, like what we could have done. But I think at least had top 8 in my mind, for sure. I think, looking at the prize split breakdown, we were like, top 8, we don't have an org. Like, this is what's going to be a good split for us. That's literally going to be make it all kind of worth it. But as I think after group stage, that's when the confidence began. It was like, okay, yeah, we can compete. Everything that was going wrong in practice was like being improved so fast. It was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of our meta right now too, with the shields, how smart we were playing. Like, our fundamentals were all looking good.
I mean, you have somebody like Spirits. Like, I've heard from players that facing Spirits on shield is just the most annoying thing ever. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I do want to get your opinion on is, do you think having those players with their ability to play shields efficiently and just simply being able to, I don't want to say master, but definitively figure out the shield meta, do you think that's one of the keys to your success during that entire event run?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I give, like, Spirits, and this is from one shield player to another. I think Spirits is 100% the best shield player in the game right now. I think he is absolutely insane. I think DZ got an extremely good piece in that roster that I think they needed for a little while now. He's going to be insane. But I do think that was a big key to our run, and I think it was a big reason I also wanted to one more season with those guys. Yeah. I was like, it is shield meta, and you're now giving me the best shield player in the game that I can make him do any shield crazy strats that I can think of. I mean, I think we kept spirits on a shield like 95% of his rounds. Like, why take him off it? It was frustrating the other team. You look at BDS, I don't think those guys were more frustrated playing anybody but us. Like, they were literally chalked. Their timeouts were talking about running like 4 shield counters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think you like, obviously you're not in there, but this is one theory that I had, is that one of the main, I guess you could say, Achilles heels to BDS, I don't really have to, explain that they've lost 3 grand finals in the span of a year, doing the opposite of what W7M did. But one of my theories was their Achilles heel was their mental. Especially when you get into a best of 5 grand final, you have players like Gunner just absolutely shitting on you. Like, I mean, if I'm like Fact, especially the clip that came out of him, like, I don't want to say screaming because I think it's just passion. But my question is, do you think that is one of the major factors on why BDS always fell short?
That and like the prize pool amounts is not enough for him, I guess. Saudi, they're definitely winning every Saudi event, but maybe majors aren't good enough for him. I don't know. No. Yeah, I do think mental wise, like I think there's a stigma around that, like some of the French players don't have the best mentals. Yeah. If you watch BDS, we put out documentaries. I mean, there's literally a documentary out there of Shaiko going absolutely crazy on his team, full like kind of diva moment, and them trying to calm him down. Like that stuff, I don't think that would happen in NA. I think a lot of I don't think Super's gonna let Ambi kind of go on a little bit of a rampage like that. So I don't know. I do think mental a little bit. And I think just like playstyle wise, like matchup wise, it's like that BDS, the W7M, like there's just those kind of like ratty playstyles I think catches them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whether it's Brazil or just, Beast Coast, they just can't beat it. I think also that's one of the reasons why G2 had immediate success in SI23, and then after Fabian left, they didn't have that much success because you have that player. When you have a team that has a lot of, I don't want to say egos, but personalities, you need a bigger personality to just kind of have everybody locked in on the same exact point and just control it, per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before we go over into Turtle Tactics, this is just more of a personal question. So you worked with Matt a long time ago before DZ and with DZ. And going from then to now working with him years later on SI, obviously a lot of people have given his props, especially falling into that IGL role. I just kind of want to get your opinion on the growth that you've noticed personally firsthand.
Yeah, so I think I've said this multiple times, and I've told him, like, his growth from when we got rid of him on DZ and he went to Mirage and became a full-on leader on that team, to SSG, developing even more so into his IGL role and the strategy and like the things callouts work with him on, to Cloud9 with Fett. He always had a voice on the team. He was kind of the third voice on early DZ. It was like me, Skies, and then Matt, and Matt would kind of call like little execute things. But now that he's able to take full control, I mean, I think for me, again, it's hard to tell. I haven't worked with every IGL, but I mean, I think he's up. It's Troy and hot and cold right now. I think Matt is able to think of really, really, really good ideas in the mid round, and that's just like extremely rare. I think some IGLs are still kind of going by the book a little bit, or by like a preset win condition here or there. But Matt can kind of go off script. Both him and Troy always came to practice with a lot of really good ideas on how to incorporate into our attacks and like change things up like that. And I mean, I just don't think anyone's kind of thinking about the game the way those two are in NA.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a clear contrast that no matter what roster he's on, he has immediate success. He did with SSG, he did with Mirage, doesn't matter. Now, moving on to Turtle Tactics. I, and a lot of my colleagues, especially casters, were very surprised that after SI, after a top 4 finish, instead of going to a T1 team, obviously you talked about it in your video that you released today, with the low balls that forced you to kind of take semi-retirement, but going down into T3, choosing to develop players. I just want to understand the entire thought process from post-SI to getting the team together.
Yeah, so again, post-SI, We wanted to stay as a team. I was revitalized, ready to keep coaching these guys. Like I've never had as much fun as I had as with these guys. And all of our like post game talks were like, we want to stick together. However, and we had a lot of big orgs hit us up for sure. Like there were some big names. Like Envious was around the scene. 100 Thieves poked around. Like there was some big names. But the problem is the partnership was already established. Is that the Seas partnership? The 5 teams in NA were already established, and unless they were willing to sell a spot, these teams were not going to get into the game, and were not really willing to pick us up. Yeah. It wasn't worth it to them. So then we had to make our way down the list. Okay, well, there's some other teams. There's Cloud9. Wildcard was making some changes. Some of the other partnership teams, OXG was making some changes, right? However, none of them were willing to pick us up fully as a team, or they were kind of lowballing what we thought we were worth after getting top 4 SI, where we could split up and make more money. And it's kind of hard. Like, it's not always about the money, but we were just practicing for like 3 months, not making anything. And some of these guys have to put food on the table. They got to prove to their parents that this is all kind of worth it, like that, the struggle. So after a couple of days, nothing was really going our way. Marco came in, good old M80, and offered an offer. It was like Scarface, like, we're good. It was too good to refuse. So Matt and Gav sat us down, told us about it, and we're like, yeah, I mean, I would love to stay together. We all would. We all shared some tears, but like, it was too good. Yeah. It would be stupid not to. So we just said, all right. Then we all tweeted our funny gifs. We all departed, and that was that. As for me, I mean, I was immediately approached after posting my gift. Like a couple teams in NA hit me up, but none that I really kind of believed in that were, I don't know. I didn't want to start new again. I wanted my team. Yeah. I didn't want to start new again. Yeah. Learning fresh faces and all that. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm too old for that, but like, yeah, just esports is very volatile. Yeah. And things kind of get taken away from you. That's just how it goes. So I wanted to build my own brand, my own thing that people, like, it can't just end, right? Yeah. And I also discovered, like, my love for coaching was developing. Like, that's what I love with coaching. And also, I love playing the game competitively. So I'm like, well, if I want to stream, then I need to find a way to stream something competitive, aka scrims, practices that's never been done. And at the same time, I can develop these T3, T2 players to hopefully move up into the T1 league, while also combining the love for trying to bring this game more so to the casual side. And understand basic concepts and things like that, because I do love teaching. So that's where Turtle Tactics kind of started. I actually brought the idea up like very, very early on when in Unwanted. We were all out bonding. A lot of us live in Vegas, actually. Oh, okay. So it all worked out. We were out drinking, having a great time, brought it up to the guys like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You go, what do you guys think? They're like, oh, yeah, great idea. So kept that idea in the back of my mind for a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at today. Yeah. I'll let you keep asking questions just in case about it. If there's anything I didn't cover, but that's kind of that's the backstory about how it kind of started.
Yeah, we can go a little more in depth.
Okay.
One thing that I really like is that you didn't waltz in. You also talked about video that you didn't pick up ex-pro players. You didn't join an already established T2 roster. When picking up players, you talked about how you wanted to pick people up who, one, weren't really given chances, who are undervalued. You wanted to develop these players, and I love that. I think going into this, you could have been, and this isn't a shot at Merc per se, you could have gone to a roster that was already really good. All they needed was a coach to just put them forward. But this, just like Fabian was doing in APAC, you're choosing to develop. And not a lot of people in your position, they could choose that comfy T1 job, but you weren't going to be happy there. And you wanted to do something that you'd enjoy every day, in and out. And I think it is honestly really admirable, because not a lot of people would do what you would do. But again, I think it is just interesting to me when I first saw it. I was surprised. None of my friends either in the like T3 T2 scene really expected or understood eventually, as you know, you did more streams. The video also today also helped me understand quite a bit. But then moving on to the players, I just want to get your overall just idea behind this, what you want your goal. You talked about how Challenger League also creeped up, surprised you guys a little bit, something you weren't exactly prepared for.
Yeah, so again, like did I have X Pros like DMing me that they were making a return, and that they were potentially interested. You know, maybe Eclipse was out there in chat. Everyone loves Tyler. You know, so there was some interest, but again, like this was kind of done a couple years ago by like Easily, and he just had X Pros, and they were just pugging and absolutely just destroying teams, and like. There's no like teaching value. I wanted to like go over strats and like run strats, and like if you're just like destroying, the X Pros are gonna get really bored. There's concepts that they already know, and like I would like to be able to teach these to these T3 players, T2 players, make them better, and hopefully again try to help them in their careers. But yeah, so as far as the mix of players, like I wanted to create a storyline with it. So I mean, there's obviously Nix, who we started with. I've had him as my analyst. He's a very good support staff. Gets a lot of hate as a player, maybe a little bit too much. But he obviously comes from the T1 league. He's been to Tokoname finals with me. When we teamed together on DZ at one point, statistically, if you're into statistics, he was one of the best entries in the world, opening kill wise. Like he was actually insane on Ashe. And then obviously again. Had a little bit of problems, but he's also been working on a lot of things, and he's trying to make himself better every single day. He's a really good leader on this team, and he understands how I want to play the game, obviously working with me. So he's also someone that could teach these younger players a lot of things. Everyone's got full trust in him and knows he's got the talent to be in T2. I think more so he's just been kind of held back by his mental in the past. And that's just something, again, he's working on. I'm helping him work on every single day. It's a process, right? Every player on this team kind of gets overlooked one way or another. There's another player, Spider. He was a T4 player, but I think T2 player. Pretty solid, and they took a break. But I think he kind of got overlooked a little bit because people didn't know what role he played. When he first joined, he was an entry. He was like a flicky, aimy, leany guy, but like Spider's probably watching, but like he's not super talkative or like super aggressive enough for that role even. Like I think he is the perfect like mailbox. Like he kind of plays the dream role that we have right now on our team, or like an NJR role. Like that is where he's good. He's very good on cutoffs, DMRs, Twitch, utility, and they call him Mr. Cams for a reason. Like this guy, I mean, he's making great calls. What else? We got Trev Mac, who was an IGL in T2, I believe. Creates a ton of different teams. I just think people around him don't put in the same effort. I think Trev is extremely good, has a lot of good calls in his vocal. And it was just he's really a system player and was looking for a system to play in, so it was kind of the perfect person to put on this team. And then flexibility-wise, he was playing a lot of the operators that I was playing because I was trying to play on this team, but I was so bad at the game that I had to step away after a week. If anyone watched those streams, I'm sorry. I was dropping like 4 kills a game. It was ridiculous. But anyway, so Trev was perfect in that role. And then obviously we had Eli on the team, and we had a guy named Zers on the team. Another like top T2, maybe kind of bottom T2. Like we tried to have a mix. I even tried to look for like a T3 up and coming player, maybe like an up and coming fragger, because I thought that'd be a cool like storyline for the stream. Like let's get him to move up into T2 for the first time, surrounded by some vets. But we decided to kind of go for like more T2 talent because CL was so coming up so fast, like you mentioned, to try to give us the best shot. However, Zers had to step away for school, and then Eli, like system-wise, just kind of didn't work out for us. But hey, it worked out for him. He's in Challenger League. So great for him. But we ended up getting Dami and Zonky from Outlast, who were like total system players, wanted to play in this system so bad, had a lot of mutual interest. So that's the 5 we got now. And now we're just some T3 superstars. You can find us on Xenon League or the Outlast Contender Series or whatever other tournament we can kind of find. We're not in CL, but that's not my mission. It will be in a few months' time. but I don't think T3 teams stick together. Like right now,
No.
hard to find scrims. A bunch of them disbanded.
Yes.
And then when another tournament starts, they'll make a team and
Yeah.
join that team. Like, how are you improving? How are you getting better?
Yeah.
So our goal right now is like, let's stay together
Yeah.
as a T3 team. Let's get better every single day, working on our goals, working on our strats. And then when Challenger League presents itself again, whenever that is, a few months from now, we'll hopefully be more ready. And yeah, that'll be our moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people doubt what you're trying to do. Obviously, you talked about how Nyx was under a little heat. And I think it's kind of something that they're not going to be able to see the vision until you find success. They're not going to give you the props. They're not going to see what you're doing until you make CL, until you place really high. And as you spoke about before, T3 teams not sticking together. As somebody who's casted every T3 league, every single league, there's completely new teams. And every once in a while, you'll have 5 players I have never heard of absolutely just stomp T2 rosters. And I'm like, where did these guys come from? And then they lose one game in playoffs, and then they never seen again. And I think that is really what sets you guys apart between other T3, T2 teams, is that you are a roster, obviously, with your T1 experience, with years as coaching and that upper level, but also taking the time to develop. Not a lot of teams do that. And another thing is, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of T2 teams, even T3, don't have coaches. They don't have support staff. It's just 5 people playing. Yeah. So again, I talked about Murky's doing the exact same thing with M80X, Fabian with APAC, just trying to develop. And that leads me to my next question: is what is the time scale? How long do you have? Maybe you don't have one, but like, what is your goal time wise?
Yeah, so if I get back up for 1 second and just say, like, Merc, good example on M80X, Bands Coast, like those guys, their very first season when they switched over, they were 2 and 3 in Challenger League, stuck together. I mean, I think they made like one roster change, but ended up sticking together, and now they are arguably probably the favorites to win Challenger League. So I think that's a good example of that. As far as timeline, and again, I kind of want to talk like the core idea of this isn't really that we get into T2 and have success, because I personally have no interest in like us qualifying somehow to Pro League. I don't want to be in Pro League again. Okay. I want to be like an educational at the end, like at the heart of this. It's an educational stream where we are a stream team and we can stream practices and show people that don't know what a practice looks like. Yeah. We can show them what it looks like using all like the T1 experience and the things that I've had and used in Pro League, and like that is the core of it. And then maybe it helps collegiate teams or other teams, like they can kind of take some ideas. That's kind of the idea of it, especially when pros are scrimming right now. Like, what stream is on during the hours of when all the pros are scrimming, when all the NA pros are scrimming, basically. So it's like, well, when they all get off to scrim and you don't know what's happening, we're on scrimming. Come tune in. That's what a scrim looks like, So yeah, time wise, we don't really have one, but I mean, I would say, sure. I want the guys kind of ready to go. What is it, like June-ish, when maybe the next Challenger League element is, or even Saudi quals are, like whatever big quals that are happening. Sure, would it be fun to compete in those? Yes. So right now we're just kind of one day at a time, trying to get better. We still have a lot of weak maps. There's still maps we haven't even played yet or talked about yet. So we still have, a little bit of time to go. Yeah.
Trying to remember the question. Oh yeah, streaming scrims. Nobody done it. You talked about how that's something that you kind of just revolutionized. It happens in Valorant. Obviously a completely different game. You don't see as much. Yep. Is it hard to get people to scrim you, understanding that you're streaming it?
So originally I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was.
Okay.
I thought we would mainly be scrimming collegiate teams because we could offer a lot for each other, like mutually, right? Like they're scrimming against hopefully a pretty good structured team, and then they can watch it back and take a lot of things, and they help them out in their leagues. That was kind of like where I thought it was going to go. But now we actually have gotten some interest with T2 teams that we've scrimmed in the past, higher T3 teams that are very competitive against us. It is pretty tough, but again, that's kind of the whole point of like, we're trying to enter as many leagues as possible so that these teams can't hide from us. Because man, if we would have played Challenger League we were streaming. So like
Yeah.
M80X, we're gonna be streaming our POV, and you can't hide from it. Like, sure, maybe the broadcast is on, like it doesn't really matter, but these other tournaments, like when Crucible comes up or something like that, again, if we're playing against JJ Blast or someone that normally wouldn't stream against us, we will be streaming, so people can't hide from us. I'm even trying to, and probably in the next couple days, put out a tweet. Pros, you guys struggling in ranked right now? Like, there are a lot of cheaters going on. Make a pug stack, scrim against us. Maybe wagers. Maybe we could do something fun like that. That could be fun experience for both of us. Good stream for them. Good experience for us going against professional players. So there's ways around it basically.
Yeah. So before we move on to reload everything, obviously that's something big that we want to talk about. Content creation. Are you going to venture into anything else aside from just simply streaming scrims? Are you going to be maybe like a Fet-esque per se?
So again, just getting started on YouTube. Other than streaming scrims on YouTube, I wouldn't say Fet per se. Yeah. I think, hey, very, very entertaining guy. And then there's like the High Bear, who makes very well edited, analytical or like really niche topics. Again, I'm just kind of stepping in and just kind of seeing where I fit in. Right now, it's streaming scrims. I'm going to be releasing strat videos that I've already had recorded and edited and ready to go, probably once a week, where it's not super high-end break it down, but I think one thing, like, for example, the one going up is like Consulate CEO. I'll talk about the 3 most played attacks on that. I think some things that teams don't understand, though, is like why you would run certain attacks. I don't think that's talked about. So, like, sure, you got an admin take, sure, you got a CO window take, sure, you got a rush. Okay. Why would you want to run each one? Like, what are the things you're kind of looking for? So, like, going into, like, stuff like that. So, strategy videos once a week. Tier lists. I'm very much so looking forward to NAL and this reload event starting. I would love to start co-streaming. If Hot and Cold for whatever gets knocked out, you might have like a couch back here and like a cool setup, a little podcasty setup. Like, I think watch parties are kind of needed in Siege.
Yeah.
Look at Call of Duty with Scump. I think that is so cool, and I think that could be done, and it would be if it's done well, I think it could kind of be a hit. Sometimes watching some streamer just kind of sitting up here yap while watching game, it's okay, it's all right, but could it be done a little bit better with like multiple people? I think so.
I agree. Because I mean, you again talking about Fet, you also have people like Jinxie. That's a completely different thing from what you guys are trying to do. So I think it's kind of a market. Also, something I'm trying to do with my content is just simply bridge the gap between casual and pro. You have people like Fet, but at the end of the day, he's not showing the experience per se. That's not a shot at him. People can do like breakdowns of videos, breakdowns of strats, but this is coming straight raw just from the mind of a coach. Somebody who's been in that perspective is able to break it down in an easy, fashionable sense. But now moving to reload. Before we get to reload, I want to talk about the ban system per se.
Okay.
In ranked, it's a ban every single round, and then you switch, and then you ban again. In my opinion, I think the way they're doing it is bad. It slows down the game way too much. I like the addition of multiple bans. They've also said that during reload, there will be a new system different from rank. So we have something a little separate from both scenes. But I just wanted to get your overall opinion on just, I guess, in general, adding more bans.
Okay, in general, adding more bans. Because have they talked how it's going to work in pro, or at least what the pros are scrimming with right now? Has that been a discussion? Because I don't know. I don't know if I can really talk about that.
I've heard stuff, but it's not public.
Okay, it's not public. Okay, cool, confirmed. Sure. I like that we're messing with the ban system. Just in general, whether it's adding more bans or whatever, we have a lot more operators than I thought they would have in this game. So, and a lot more meta operators. You're able to get rid of a ton of shields now. Or I think it's also like you just get rid of the other side, right? Like if you're on attack, banning, right? So like that's kind of cool. So you're playing a map like Cafe, I guarantee you a castle is going to be banned a lot, and most teams run a castle setup, right? So they can play in shop or cigar or something like that. A zombie to play piano. You don't have castle or zombie. Okay, now what? Now you're probably falling back to a Mira. Maybe you get a Mira ban now. Now what? Like, it's definitely going to create a fun. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited that I can just watch it now. and kind of see all the interesting ways that people are going to come up with it. Whenever I get to play around with it in scrims, will be definitely a lot of fun as well for these guys going forward. But I do think it slows down the game. I don't think it should be every round, like you're saying.
Yeah.
That's gonna bore people, and people are just gonna click random things. Like I don't even want to ban anything in ranked anyway. Like just let me play. Yeah. Like just let me in there, man. Yeah. Like I know Blitz and a zombie are banned every single map, or Blackbeard and a zombie. Like just let me play, man.
Yeah, I think especially now that we're going into year 10, and if Ubisoft wants to exceed the lifespan for another 10 years, there needs to be a change. You can't have the same thing every single year, but you also have to make sure that it's not too big, because Siege, especially esports, still has a problem of casual players. Aside from Jinxie, they don't know anything about pro. They don't know anything about esports. And leads us to today, where Ubisoft dropped the new system, or I guess system for reload. I started reading it and I was like, wow, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So for my sake and also everybody else's sake, I just kind of wanted to get your breakdown and your understanding and opinion on the new system. For at least it won't be, from my understanding, it won't be in Pro League, it won't be in SI, it would just be for this single invite only event.
Yeah, so breaking news. Yeah, the new system kickoff event. I will say I heard a little murmur when I was on Unwanted. We lost when we were in 4th place. I was in the backstage and I heard production like, yeah, this kickoff event's about to be unlike anything that's ever been done before in esports, and they definitely were not lying.
Yeah,
I think, and at least to my understanding, this kickoff tournament is supposed to give us the exposure and the hype for the new season of Pro League that's starting. Like that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah,
that's why it's called the kickoff event, right? Get all the hype needed. You want Jinxie casting. This is or co-streaming. Yeah. This is an event you want Jinxie co-streaming, because now we're introducing the one-on-ones, the card system. I personally love it. I know some people are upset. They're like, "What's Ubisoft do?" It's got mixed reviews, right? What's Ubisoft doing? There should be a spot like Valorant where the winner of this event should automatically like qualify into something, or maybe whatever it is. But I think this is going more pure for entertainment purposes, and group stages. Yeah, it's going to get extremely entertaining with that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest gripe with this event solely is that one major. Technically, we only get 2. The prize pool is the same. It's still the same idea. It's a tournament with 20 teams. Obviously doesn't have any effects on the SI point system. Apparently EWC is going to have some, I don't know everything about that though. Probably announced later on. But I think one thing that people don't understand is that Ubisoft doesn't exactly know everything. They have to build it up. They have to prepare. I think this entire year is really going to be just a building thing, especially, I don't know if you heard about it, Ubisoft creating like a subsidiary department, Tencent investing in it. So just a whole lot of stuff. I think this year is going to be more about growth rather than just going right into things. But again, yeah, I think it's a thing where I read it, and as I grew to understand it, I was excited. 1v1s to decide whether or not you stay in the event is absolutely crazy. But again, I think it's something where you just need excitement. Like, people are like, oh, I'm not used to this for like 10 years, but like, you need to be excited. It doesn't matter if you're BDS, if you're Beast Coast, winning every single event. If nobody aside from this small bubble cares about what you're doing, eventually it's going to die off.
Yeah, we need to generate hype around the event. And Ubisoft's doing right by, like, after SI, there's, look at all these months. Now there's, like, a big break period. Yeah. And, like, it's great. You're giving the pro players the time off. Sometimes after SI, I was like, you got to get ready for a major in like 2 weeks. Better start practicing, buddy. It's like, where's the time off?
Yeah.
Now we have months off. I think that's structured correctly. Right after SI, it's the Super Bowl. Take a little bit of a break. But then how are you, after all that time off, going to generate enough hype to go into the whole season? I think you need something like this. And now, like these, again, I think I'm most excited, and I hope we get a ton of them, is these 1v1s. Yeah. I don't know if pros are we going to start incorporating, like, is DZ, are they going to start having a 1v1 practice? Is that going to be a thing just in case? Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, it's still a prize pool. You still want to get out of groups, and once you get out of groups, I think it's a pretty normal event after that. Yeah. But again, it's created a lot of buzz. I don't think there should be that much hate for it.
No.
I think everyone that is going to watch this event is gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you watch the NBA, but it's kind of what they're doing with the All-Star games. Every season there's something different. They're trying something different. I don't know if it's going to be a completely different event every single year or if it's going to be the same reload system, but I think it's also like kind of like fresh air for everybody. I think one of the biggest problems for teams, Honcold also spoke about it, he was going to retire, is just burnout. This game sometimes can get really just mentally straining and boring. I think really this event is what we need.
Yeah, and I've been there. And the only other thing I think these guys could have done for an event, and something I was hoping for like for years ago, was CS:GO. I think it was like the Summit matches. I don't know if you're familiar with those, where basically they fly all the pros out. They live on an island in like a nice house, and they just they play matches in rooms, and the other teams that are still in the event, or maybe they got knocked out, or just on the couch, and they're the casters. They're watching the games. And it's just a very chill event. Like that would have also been cool, I think, in Siege. But either way, I think again it's going to create the excitement we need.
Yeah, I think it really is. So before we wrap everything up, we talked about whether or not we're going to have this, but 3 tips for players, both ranging from casual, ranging to just anybody who's trying to play competitive or who's already in competitive. Obviously, your experience and your knowledge adds a lot. It's going to take some time to, kind of turn it into a casual tidbit for people to understand. But I just wanted to give you the floor to say those 3 tips.
Sure. So, I mean, my number 1 tip and the biggest L I've taken in my entire career, I think that players should be doing, I'll go join a team, and the first thing I say to pro players is build a brand.
Yes.
Build a brand. Because I have been lucky and fortunate enough to do this since 2015, so basically 10 years. Yeah. But I'm just now, 10 years later, starting at YouTube, where I have 190 subs. Please subscribe at R6Min. Thank you very much. But 190 subs. My Twitch, I've been on and off streaming, but it's like I'm already playing the game. I'm already having fun. All those times I'm playing with Pojoman and Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy, or I'm playing with like fun players that people want to play with. Why am I not just turning my stream on and like trying to garner an audience? So build a brand, make yourself, even if you're like not a pro player, the only way is to make it and move up is exposure. Right. Yeah. You need exposure. The only way you're going to get that is if you're teaming with people and then just like team hopping, and hopefully your name sticks around and then you get to a good team. That's just not reliable. No. Build a brand, YouTube, stream, get your name out there, get people talking about you, get some buzz around you. I'll say this on DZ, when we were going through roster change after retired, Pamazoo was like not on the top of our list. Like I didn't even know what a Pamazoo was. I didn't know it was a Mexican sandwich. I had no idea.
Really?
And we're looking through this like list of players. We're looking through this list of players, and like his stats didn't stick out. There was another guy on his team that I can't think of that was an actual entry. We were looking for an entry. He was an actual entry. Pamazoo stats weren't sticking out, but he had a YouTube channel. Watched his YouTube channel. I was like, this guy's actually insane. Like, so. Definitely having some clips, even if you're an IGL. How are you supposed to know as a support player? You were not going on plus 80 like Gavin is in Challenger League and getting your name out there. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're not. But you got to get your name out there somehow, some way. The clips, comms, something. So anyway, build a brand. Please build a brand. Even if pro doesn't work out for you, maybe there's another path you can go down, and it will help you get there. Number 2, watch as much as you can. I think this is especially good for newer players in Siege. There's a big learning curve. I think we all know going through this game. We're lucky enough that we've been playing it for a while. We know most things, but if you just try to start playing this game, angles, you're dying to things you've never seen before in your life. Watch better players. There's tons of streams going on. There's Pro League going on. Other casted events going on. That is how you're going to learn quicker. Even pro players do it. When we pick up a new strategy, say we're taking a piece from another team, the quickest way to learn your spot, master your role, is like, hey, Felipox plays a similar position to you. Watch what Felipox does, or watch what Nade does, or whatever it is. Like, try to take different things that better players than you are doing and put them into your own game. You're only going to grow quicker. And then number 3. I think this could be controversial, but for me, it's find your role. I think too many people think they are the Swiss Army knives, right? They think I can play anything. I'm Dream. I could play it all. I could entry, Dream on tempo. I could play support, Dream now. I could do it all. But if you say you have 500 hours you just put into the game and you're spread across like picking Ash, picking Smoke, like whatever, you're playing every single type of role there is in the game, you're only going to be like decent at like some of these. Yeah. Sure, Joe Bob puts out a tweet saying looking for an entry, and I'm going to hit up the entry. But if that's not your role, you're better off finding what you are good at and putting that 500 hours into what you're good at and mastering that and just trying to play that role. I can't tell how many times even like we're kind of talking to some T2 players when we're picking them up, or we're like talking to them about like any interest, and it's like, what do you play? And they're like, I don't know, I play it all. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't really help me as a coach. Like now we got to go through tons of scrims, and I got to see where you fit in as a player. It's just it's these players too. Like usually do have what they're good at. They just don't know it. So figure that out as soon as possible. That's basically it for me.
So one more question. I literally just thought about this. You've talked about looking through players, especially going through trade scenario. What is the one mistake that you've seen, whether it just turns you off for like, okay, this player, don't want to touch him, or just something that you think every player should improve on, specifically in a tryout scenario?
I'm sorry, could you ask that again?
Yeah, okay. So what's one mistake or one thing a player does bad? Say you try out a scrim or you're watching a VOD. The one thing that stands out that you've seen consistently through players that's kind of turned you off from picking them up or maybe giving yourself second thoughts?
A lot of like solo stuff, I would say. Yeah. So thankfully, I've never had a tryout for a position in my life. I was on. I got picked up to VWS instantly way back. We're talking season 1 here. That turned into Trinity Esports, which turned into the Flipside Tactics, which turned into DZ. Yeah. So I never left except for Unwanted here. Yeah. But as a player, I was on the same roster my entire career, never had a tryout. Thank God, I'm pretty shy. Or at least I was as a player growing up. I was pretty shy. So a lot of these players come in pretty shy, and we try to do our best to make them comfortable as possible. I try to like have pregame talks with them, kind of give them goals, like this is what we want from you. I want you to be vocal. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And then when they come into the trial, it's like they just completely shut down. They're really nervous. They're walking and not talking. And trying to like make plays with other people. I think that's what impresses pros the most is like if a child like little unknown player tries to make a play with somebody, it's like, hey Spirits, follow me up, or like they start using their name and like trying to make plays with them. That's what's going to be memorable for a pro player. Like this guy was really vocal. I like that we tried to do a bunch of things rather than like just trying to sit back, not say much, play your role. Like everyone's just gonna be like, okay, how'd the trial go? It was all right. I mean, I didn't really notice he was there, but it was all right. And I think that's how a lot of them end up going, unless you got a great personality. Shout out Kobe Lex. His trial was fantastic. Yeah.
So before we do wrap everything up, I just want to give you the floor. Shout out yourself more than anybody else because you're not tied to an org or anything now. Obviously, I know you've started a YouTube. Make sure you guys go sub to him. Is it Mint or Mint R6 on YouTube?
I think it's R6 Mint, but at the same time, I'm so new to this, it could be Mint FPS too. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is. I don't know why they don't pop up for me. I think it's Mint FPS technically.
Okay.
But yeah, I appreciate that. That's my YouTube. I'm trying to upload more consistent, probably like every other day. I got a great editor. Carson works with Uzi, and I don't want to leak some of the other ones that are in the process. But yeah, great editor, great thumbnail guy. They're really helping me kind of get started on YouTube. Trying to stream pretty consistently. So follow me on in the Discord, Mintopia. I don't know. I got a link somewhere sitting around. Maybe someone has it. But you can go to my YouTube channel. And it's got all my socials in there. But follow the Discord to know when I'm live or when we're practicing. That's it for now. I mean, I'm trying to get a TikTok and like YouTube Shorts going. trying to kind of get in the game a little bit, but one step at a time for me. Because if I try to spread my resources, then I just get so overwhelmed. So I'm an old man, one thing at a time until I kind of get it going consistently, and then we'll move on. But either way, I really appreciate you having me on this and being able to chat about my time on Turtle Tactics in the past. It's a good time being able to yap about the old days and talk about some of the current things. So again, really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it is important. And again, if you guys want to go follow his stuff, but that's all we have for now. He has to go play ranked something. He's got scrims later. You can also watch that on his Twitch. You can literally watch that after this. But yeah, this has been Siege Shot Call. So I hope you guys have a good night.